All right, I think we're a go.
Awesome. Hey guys, how's everybody doing out there on Wednesday afternoon, evening, Thursday morning, whenever, I don't know, whenever it is, wherever you are.
I hope you guys see something. Like,
I'm just seeing spots.
I gotta mute some things because I'm hearing us, but delayed. I don't think I'm getting chat. Let's try it again.
Ooh.
Maybe it's just a quiet group. Nobody wants to talk. That's understandable.
I can say something. You want me to say something?
There we go. We got some people talking. I just wasn't getting them. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
well,
Well,
let
it's
us.
Wednesday, and Tyson's going to model a bridge, so, we got that going for us.
Promises, promises. It'll model something, but
Oh, man, it didn't even occur to me. I'm not modeling. I should really be talking this up. So, you guys, today is going to be the best modeling session you've ever seen. I mean, if you don't walk away in total awe, I, I don't even know what to say. This is going to be something like you've never seen before.
that's true.
transcendent, I believe, was the word that you used, right, Tyson?
I use train wreck, but if you heard transcendent, that's
Okay. Okay.
That's a different T word, but
So Ashley got a message that there's trouble playing the video over on Facebook. I wonder if it's working for me. Is it working for everybody else on Facebook? I guess I can't ask that. If it's not working for you, you don't hear me, do you?
yeah, I don't know. Y'all seeing nice?
I see stuff.
Okay.
There's always the reload. I've found that on not so much Twitch, surprisingly, but on Facebook and YouTube, both times in the past, or in the past on both platforms, when I've initially pulled up, it's gotten a little goofy and I've had to reload. So, Ashley switched to Twitch. Whoa,
There we go.
I pronounced that quite well, I will say.
Ashley and Twitch. That's for both.
Switched
easy to
to
pronounce.
twitched.
The old Twitch switch.
That's right.
Twitcheroo.
All right, well, in case you haven't already caught it, today Tyson will be modeling, and he's going to be modeling for us the Sydney Harbour Bridge. However you choose to spell Sydney or Harbour, it's all the same when you say it out loud. I've apparently misspelled or said, I don't know, stuff wrong, but anyhow, with that, we can probably just hop in and Tyson can start making introductions.
Ha Woo. So let's pull up, yeah, like an image of the bridge. Let's talk about what we're doing here. Let's see, is this coming through?
Loud and clear.
Yep.
Here, I'm going to post a picture or a link.
So, Aaron, have you ever got to this point, looked at what you're modeling, and been like, I'm gonna bail out. I changed my mind. I don't want to do this anymore.
It's just pre-show jitters. You got it.
Just remember that if you screw up, we still have fun.
Okay, that's what it's all about.
I will say that the harder I've sweated, I've heard more positive things about some of those shows. So I don't know. I don't know what the secret is. Your pain, our enjoyment. I think
Yeah.
along those.
So the thing, I think the thing that we'll kind of get into in this modeling, as we probably do many times, we talk about sort of setting your expectations of what you're trying to model toward. And in this case, always when we have a restriction, that we do of, let's just say generally 2 hours, we're going to look at this and be like, okay, how well can we capture kind of the representation of this bridge? But yeah, the details, super details, that's probably not going to happen within 2 hours. But if we try to be a little bit efficient about kind of the pieces and our use of components, we may be able to, you know, do something pretty interesting all the same. The challenge we're going to run into, as I looked at this, I thought, okay, well, we could break this up into groups and components and do some things with component nesting that might help us out. But the challenge we run into is that the overall shape of the bridge, each of these segments, as this arc works its way around, starts getting longer and longer, and the way that we wish components would work to our advantage doesn't always happen, but we'll get into that. But that's the idea is I'm going to start with this reference. This is one of the original drawings. I think this is fairly accurate to what actually was built. And if it's not, we're going to pretend that it is. So
probably it was pretty simple when they first built it, and then they've refined it on recent iterations.
Yeah.
Right?
Start by building an LOD1, and yeah, I think that's how you do it in real life. We're all computer guys. We don't really do stuff in the real world, so.
Exactly. So I'm going to bring that image in as a reference to start, and we are going to model this at real scale. So this is something like 503 meters across, this bridge span. I want to say thanks, because when we posted this in the forums, there were a couple people that were really helpful, and they put in a lot of really good information about this. Again, thank you. I will probably be ignoring 99% of that information.
Thanks for nothing. That's all I'm saying.
Nothing if not honest.
It's very much appreciated. It just, getting that accurate is more than we can probably do. So anyway, I need to scale this image up. So I'm going to take that edge that I drew, this image, group them, and then edit this and measure that line. Measuring lines doesn't work with tablet. One of the fun things about it. So that was 503 meters, I believe.
So you're saying that the tablet is not a perfect solution for all things?
No, Jody, I'm not saying that at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading between the lines.
Yeah, man. I'm saying it's actually a bad solution. No, I love it for 95% of things. 95.2% if I'm exact.
Wow.
I still think you have to be a little bit broken in the head to really do this. What you're doing.
That's fair. So let's set up a few reference points. Let's say from here, and we got like a measurement of 18 meters here. So I will take this edge, and I'm going to turn transparency on. When you're creating some of this based on an image, if you turn transparency on, it gives you a great, you can see your edges a lot better. 18 meters. So I've got 2 points there. And the other thing, let's see, the other thing I want to do at this point is kind of these spans. I don't think they're equal, but we're going to make them equal.
I like perfecting things. I like making things that are not perfect when possible. I respect that.
Yeah. So I'm going to say...
You're saying, Aaron, that it's probably a design oversight that it wasn't symmetrical like that?
Well, kind of, but I'm saying we've definitely had some stuff where I've had things show up, where I've had reference information for models and decided to make my version of things which included sometimes, in my own opinion, perfecting it.
There you go.
The original
Perfection is
architect
really-
may not agree.
Well, he's probably not on the stream, so he or she. I apologize.
That is true.
Okay, another thing about this, so yeah, I divided that. It ended up into being like, what, 15 divisions? Whether or not they're supposed to be equal, we made them so. Another thing about this, that there's all sorts of formulas and articles out there about these two parabolic curves, and we're not going to make these true parabolic curves. We're just going to make them close. Let me make sure. Okay, I'm out. All of this line work is part of this image, part of this group. I want to draw outside of that. Let's see. Draw something like this. And let me check. I turned the sides of my arc. Let me make that like fairly high. 36, something like that. I might even make that really high. Let's make it 50. This is a huge bridge. Like that, or I wonder if I think if we split it, or we'll just do a total arc. Actually, that'll work fine. The same thing up here. Let's just draw an arc. Let's say to this point. It's close, and then this one kind of curves back out again. All right. So if I close these off, so I've got my two surfaces, and I'm doing that just to make offsetting a little bit simpler, so that we can create these. Oh, this is another thing. Aaron, when you created a bridge, did you do any nomenclature? When I'm like, these are two spaghetti pieces, and this is that thing.
I am all for making up names. A lot of times, I have found that we have an insanely knowledgeable community weighing in, and usually about, I would say, a good 5 to 6 seconds after I give a ridiculous name to my group, somebody will come up with the actual name of what it is. So, yeah, they'll have your back as soon as you're done.
Nice. All right, I changed my default units to meters because of the scale of this. So let's say we offset this out. That looks about 1.5 meters, 1.5 meters. Do this one too, 1.5 meters.
So I have sort of an Australian-related question. You've seen The Princess Bride, right?
What's that?
So everything happening in that is either Florence or Gilder, but they do make a reference to Australia being full of thieves. So is that to suggest that Florin and Gilder maybe used to exist? Or is it just that we like to pick on Australia no matter where we go? Also, China talks about China. Never going to a land war with China.
I thought it said Asia.
Oh, you might have said Asia. But Asia's still not a fictional... Oh my goodness, sorry. I totally just... spoilers for Andy.
Oh. Wait, somebody actually hasn't seen it?
Well, if you haven't seen it in the last 25 years, you might just... I don't know. It's kind of hard to cover that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay Myers is having a bad day. He says he's viewing on his iPhone 6 and he's modeling with a broken arm. So remember, Tyson, no matter how bad it goes today, you got it better than some people.
That does sound pretty bad. Okay. So let's make this a component. Let's make this a component. And what we're going to do is, this is fairly common, but we're going to leave components over here and do a lot of modeling here, but we're going to have our bridge over here to the side so that we can see the results better. And we'll sort of switch back and forth. All right, let's make these, let's say 4 meters. And for now, let's make these 30 meters across. And I'm going to reverse them. Same thing here. I think it's interesting. So like I don't know. There's somebody out there maybe will insist that there's an official number, but you shouldn't have to give a spoiler alert when you're like, okay, spoiler alert for a movie that's 20 years old, right? Like, isn't there some timeline, 5 or 10 years, that says it's responsibility to you?
Andy clarified because you were being funny and acting like you hadn't seen it, and he was aghast that you had not seen it.
Who? Me?
Which is yeah, but
Okay.
which is completely valid because 8 movies out of any 10 that I try and recommend to Tyson he hasn't seen because he had a very dark, sad childhood, free of all the great 80s classics.
I grew up in a very small town. We did not watch many things.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just
Wait,
out
wait.
you for the fact that your family movie was 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. We're watching Dirty Dancing
Which
and
I
Roadhouse
still,
House.
still enjoy. I love
Were
Seven
you allowed
Brides.
to dance at all? Was this the town from Footloose?
Um,
Sorry, that may be a reference you don't recognize. But
Aaron, we could square dance, okay? I mean, as long as it was square dancing or a barn raising, then yes.
Aaron's talking, of course, about Footloose. You know, tonight you have to cut Footloose.
I will say that right as you mentioned square dancing, one rough draft came on Twitch and yelled, "Yeehaw, howdy guys!"
But slightly before you sang square dancing.
Yeah.
So it was
I just thought the Tyson, or I thought the timing was slick right there.
Yeehaw.
Oh, and you do have an endorsement for 7 Brides over on Twitch as well, from a really, really long name. A leak in my boat PS4.
A leak in my boat?
But it's spelled funny. They're tricking me.
Yeah, like the veggie.
It could be Ashley since she had to go over there.
I'll tell you what. If you guys like, that's one of the movies that even if I enjoy it because I grew up with it, it's hard to recommend some of those movies and be like, oh yeah, you should watch this curious
Should we mention
musical.
Should we mention the other classic that you grew up watching?
I don't know what.
Zorro the Gay Blade.
Oh, I love it. I love it so
Roger
much.
Hamilton?
Yes. Oh my
So
God,
I borrowed Tyson's bootleg copy to watch it. And it's funny. I enjoyed it. It just cracks me up because it's such
You've never seen it before, Jody? Now who's uncultured?
No, I have seen it.
Uh-huh.
I said I borrowed Tyson's total hacked copy because they probably had to, spread it around. They had to make a bunch of duplicates for all 14 kids in the family.
Well, that was life back in the. All right, hold on, young people. Back in the day when you would catch something being broadcast and you'd record it on VHS, and then that was your movie. That's really the main reason I've seen Clash of the Titans 37 times.
That was one of the ones you managed to copy.
That's one of them. That and the '85 Super Bowl. I mean, I've seen that about 16 times.
Oh, wait, which one? Which one did you say?
The '85 Super Bowl.
Oh.
No, the Bears. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta go see this. Andy posted a picture of it of the model of the thing being built. I think that's really what you do is you model things that aren't built yet, and that way nobody can correct you on it.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's hard to lure people in to go, hey, watch me make some stuff up and model it. You know, it's. I don't know. Maybe we've got that kind of clout now.
Are you?
Okay, so what's interesting about this picture that Andy posted is you get an idea of just how big this bridge is.
Oh yeah,
Because they've got cranes like driving up the top of the arches, building it from sides to middle.
Well, okay, uncultured American alert. Here it comes. I'm gonna say it. Tyson just told us how long it was in meters, and I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
He just scaled it in meters, and I went, okay.
But he didn't.
Well, so you can use math. 3.3 feet. It's not that tricky. Come on. Come on.
Come on.
3.3 times stuff. No, see, if it's not 2 or 9, I don't really do 2, 9, and 10. I can do those in my head. The rest of the multiplication tables, I don't know, not so much.
What I enjoy about this. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying what I
No,
enjoy
go ahead.
about like, yeah, so this is meters, but as I draw these lines, there's an accuracy here that is like a meter, because what is this fuzzy line? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but do you do the same thing? I just round up like all over the place. What's that
That's
line?
always the problem I
It's
run
gonna be
into
2.
with tracing. There's always too much thickness. I understand what people are doing drawing these things with fat pencils. Sharpen your pencil.
Well, and that's I mean, that's something that goes to like real professional work. Because I remember back when I was doing design work, taking a set of plans and, you know, taking a scale to that set of plans, actually laying my triangular scale down on it and measuring something, and like this line is 4 inches wide according to the scale. So it can be rough to pull exact dimensions off of something like that.
So Kevin just said that it was actually built in Imperial measurements. I didn't think Imperial really. Wait, which one's Imperial?
Huh.
The Queen's
That's
numbers?
us. We're Imperial.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, which is weird. It completely threw me for a loop because we're not Imperial. Irregardless of that, there wasn't metric until like the mid 50s, really, right? That wasn't widely used. So Tyson, you just use whatever you want.
What's the official dimensions of the Klingon race then?
Well, I could tell you, but I'd have to tell you in Klingon, and then we just have our audience.
Clear your throat and do it in those.
Ugh. That's not
So
Klingon.
okay. So I've been watching on Hulu. I've been watching this series Staged, which is David Tennant and Michael Sheen, the guys that were in Good Omens, among other things. But the whole thing is basically
I've heard they've done other work. Yeah.
Yeah, they've done some other stuff.
I
So
guess.
the premise is they're basically locked in. So all the filming is done on like they're on a Zoom call or something like that. But in the episode I just watched, David Tennant was trying to get Michael Sheen, who's Welsh, to like say something. He was trying to get him to swear something or to just to validate him in some way. And he said, "Well, say it in Welsh," and then Michael Sheen just started doing stuff that sounded a lot like Klingon. And it was it's funny. I kind of think that maybe Klingon is based on Gaelic or Welsh or one of the two. I don't know. I don't know the difference. I'm American. I guess it would be like in America being able to speak any of the Indian languages, though, right? Native American languages.
Yeah, maybe so. when I got these multiple references, I'm like just taking a moment to figure out where it comes across. But again, this what do you guys remember? This was built like in 1910 or something. It's
Wow.
100-ish years old.
It literally said 1921 in the drawing you were referencing.
There you go.
Earlier.
That's about 100 years ago. Based on
1932.
some,
Oh, no, 1932. I'm sorry.
Okay.
21 is right now.
So-
I looked at it and I was like, okay, that's 11 years in the future, or 89
Wow.
years in the past.
I
Something
thought
like
my
that.
math
I don't
was
know.
bad.
All backwards.
Nice. My math is bad. So let's draw out that line. Anyway, since but being that old though, like finding some of the drawings from this, I saw somewhere that someone they like just found in some, oh hey, what's this? Oh, it's a bunch of the original drawings of the Sydney Harbour Bridge here. But I wasn't able to find too many of them.
Holy cow, the bridge is 160 feet wide.
Oh, that actually, I'm glad you caught that because I didn't know that, so that'll come in play later.
So Johnny Lemire said that.
Well, without being intentional about it, Tyson, you are doing a good job of showing how you can flip from imperial to metric whilst modeling.
Look at you. It's probably because he uses a tablet.
You're basically the UN all by yourself.
Oh. Well, depending on which circles you say that in, that could be a really good compliment or like a huge slap in the face.
Why not
Well,
both?
we call this the SketchUp UN because we have such an international representation here. So we use it in a good way.
Nice. All right, so I think I got this scaled close enough. I just wanted some reference to see how wide to pull these. I'm not going to get them. Something like 14, 15 meters. We'll try.
So are we going to talk about the fact that there's 2 live streams this week? Because it's kind of freaking me out. I'm a little bit overwhelmed already just imagining.
This is a you get what you ask for kind of situation where we repeatedly said, would you prefer Wednesdays or Fridays? And people either said Wednesday, and then somebody else said Friday, or they said we would like them both. So we decided we're going to try giving you both. So today, hold up. Yep, today is Wednesday. So Tyson is modeling today, and then we'll be back on Friday modeling something different.
Did you just check to see which socks you're wearing?
Yeah, socks. That's what I checked.
I was trying to I tried to make it a little more family friendly there. Or count the number of days since your last bath.
You keep track of that?
Wait, you take baths?
No, so have you ever lived in a house where you didn't have a shower, like where you had to take a bath? Feels like such a
No.
I completely take for granted. I lived in a house built like in the 20s, and I think it had a shower, but the shower it must have had a shower, but the shower, like the top half, just didn't work. And it was a rental, so I didn't want to bother fixing it. That is just the weirdest thing. We'd have like a gallon pitcher on the edge of the bathtub. 'Cause I used to have hair, and so I'd need to actually rinse the soap out of my hair.
I was actually going to ask, is that when you made the push to clean cut, and you're like, forget this, just shave my
This
head.
is a pain. I'm not going to say that's when it happened, but it may have contributed. I don't know. Okay,
This is where things get a little, like, strategy-wise, where you can start to take a kind of different approaches, because let's talk about this. What do we ever call these pillars, struts, something?
Bridge ribs.
Bridge ribs.
Pretty sure.
So these things.
That's right.
Wow.
There's repeat elements in here, right? These cross members that would be useful as components, and they're all the same height, so we can be like, okay, that's useful. But the height then is all different, but these top members are all the same. So now we start to be like, okay, what should we make a component? When should we make it unique? How should we embed these? And if we build in some of that efficiency, then we also, like, sometimes I feel like, well, every one of these should kind of be their own thing because they're so custom if you were to really make these detailed. But anyway, I'm going to try something with these, but that's I think one of the interesting things about this kind of session is like how to approach this to make it both efficient and still work, right?
Right. Yeah.
And these top things they confuse. I cannot see what's going on, so those are going to be weird. Anyway,
that's a call to the community. Who can find a good picture of those, the upper bridge support pieces?
As Aaron said, artist choice.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is sort of, we're fudging a lot of this, but the bait. So I've made this a component, and then we're going to embed some stuff inside of here that will hopefully work. So I'm going to make this piece another component inside the component.
Mm-hmm.
And just to, we'll add more detail later, but let's make sure we know what this is.
Yeah, YouTube called it out. I didn't want to say this because I don't want to try to like make you think I'm telling you how to model, but if somebody else says it, I'll call it out. He was suggesting making, the three parts, the top, the middle, and the bottom, and then just scaling that middle piece.
Yeah, so agreed. Like that bottom should be a component, this piece should be a component, the top piece should be a component, and the middle piece should be like loose geometry or a group, and then we make each one of the pairs unique. Right. So yeah.
So this actually gives this begs a question. Whenever you're working on models that are going to be a thing you want to actually build, how much do you think about like component design before you really start getting into it, or do you do that all sort of ad hoc? Like, do you ever think, how can I model this smarter before you start modeling? Because I never think, how can I do anything smarter? I always just kind of start doing it, but.
Well, you're so gifted from the start. Some of us don't have that luxury.
I wasn't going to say it, but thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I don't know, Aaron. I suspect like it changes depending on how you approach when you're coming in and being like, I'm just jumping in. All too often, I think we're all guilty. You just sort of jump in and make it up as you go. But there's sometimes when, if you stop, it's helpful to be like, how should I structure this from the beginning so I don't have to do it 3 hours later? Oh, by the way, nobody's told me to save yet. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose this.
Yeah. What's the shortcut on your tablet for that?
What's that?
That's
Phew.
Just to hop in here, FAM Civil Engineering is stopping by to say hi. Yep, we are lucky enough to have Tyson modeling today. So I can't stay away. I can't let it go. I still got to hang out, but I get to give my mouse a rest.
Your mouth or your mouse?
Well, obviously I'm talking, so.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Fine. Thanks for making me sound stupid in front of all these people, Aaron.
Hey, you could do that all by yourself, Jody. You don't need me.
You don't need.
Touche. Touche.
That's the movie Clue. Are you trying to make me feel stupid look stupid in front of the other guests? No, you can do that all on your own. That's right. Something like that. Anyway.
Hey,
Classic
that was
movie.
that was a movie reference from him.
He can reference some movies sometimes.
That's good.
I think to answer your question a little more, Jody.
Well, and I only brought that question up because we had talked briefly before this started about you were thinking about the components in building this.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if that was just standard MO for your models.
Let's see. I'm going to paste this, if I remember my keyboard shortcut, in place, which should give us all of our pieces.
Jean posted a cross section here in the forum. So if you want to go look at that, you can go see what it looks like as a cross section.
Well, let's have a look. Look at those things. Ooh, perfect. Well, and as before, thank you, and don't hold me to it.
This is great.
This is
I might use
awesome.
it.
All right.
At least it can give you, some loose guidelines.
That's right. Another question did come up on YouTube asking if we can model a dress in SketchUp.
A dress?
What's the address? Just give
Ooh.
me the address and I'll look it up. I'll be here all week.
Well, I would say you can model anything in SketchUp. Just the question
Nice.
of how much time and energy you want. You know what I did at one point model a dress mannequin, like a dressmaker's form in SketchUp, and that was a pretty cool model. But I don't know, fabric would be a whole other thing.
I mean, to really answer the question, though, while it is possible to do things that are fabrics, realistically, there's not, to my knowledge, anyone that is professionally designing clothes using SketchUp.
Yeah.
That would be
Tyson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you ever used Clothworks?
I've do you know, I looked into that a little bit when I said, hey, let's do the bridge, because I thought, oh, it'll be a fun kind of finale to put a flag at the top, and Clothworks would be perfect for that. But that's as far as I got. Just the idea of it.
Sometimes it's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one more thing here. The tricky part about setting this up from the beginning is sort of trying to guess later on what's going to be useful, because we're going to have to make each one of these ultimately unique, and even though we've made parts of them components and so we'll preserve that, we have to make them unique to, we could use scale. Some people are, we could, but that's going to create its own issues. But essentially, like, okay, if we only go this far, or do we do the member on top of it? Do we do like, so a little bit? The other thing about it, like I added just a little bit of detail here, because once we make these unique, we lose this one, because this inner piece is a group inside the component. We'll make it unique. It doesn't carry, like, and I think there's no perfect, this is trial and error, and a little bit of like, maybe it works best this way this time, maybe a different way a different time. I don't know. But it's a fun, it's fun to kind of see what you can do with the component nesting and how well you can push it, but sometimes, it's just going to work better or worse for you. Anyway, all that to say, I'm going to add one more group in here.
Some people who would like to see you sweat would probably say something about making that a dynamic component, but I mean, I wouldn't say that, but someone somewhere probably would.
Some people.
Yeah, those guys.
Those guys. All right, let's see what we can do with this. If we've set this up, then we'll start making these unique and changing the sort of how far up they go. So, better commit. All right, I'm gonna start doing it. And I mean, like we talk about all the time, we're just gonna be close. So
Bill Farrell's just checking in on the US in general, based on our use of metric for this model and what he calls correct spelling of Harbour in the title. Just want to say, Bill, we are still dropping vowels wherever possible, and the meters, sometimes it just happens. So don't worry about us, we're good.
You take all of those, Aaron. My spelling's as good as my math.
Hey, I literally copied the title of the model you wanted to do out of your IM and sent it out. So this is so what you're doing right now, Tyson, working way down there, adjusting those pieces. This is one of those times where I hear this. It's like, well, how do I make that simpler? How do I make this quicker? How do I make this? And I can't, I'm trying to look at what you're doing and trying to think of a way to make this better, quicker, easier. And I don't know that I can think of what that would be, because you are dealing with things that are all different. I mean, I guess eventually some kind of parametric thing someday, but right now I kind of feel like what you're doing is the way to go about it.
Well, and if it's not, please tell me, because that was the kind of my conclusion as well, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that makes sense. Have that adjustable piece in the middle, and then I'm not sure how you would cut that down to less.
Yeah.
I do like that you're trying to find ways to be better than Tyson, though. That's really the American way. Right?
Be better.
I'm just kidding. You can't be better than Tyson. Nobody can be better than Tyson.
Whew, thanks, buddy. You just keep telling me that.
Yeah. And the proof will all be in the completed model. Once this is done today, you will understand. The world will all quake.
Well, you know what? Right from now that we've made these all unique, I should have gone in and set these up a little better, right? Then I'd have, now I have to go in and adjust these. So I should have set those up.
But because of the arc those will all be different lengths too, right?
They will.
Yeah. So you can't, even if those were a component, you'd have to go in and make changes anyhow because, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I need sometimes.
That's looking pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, that's what I need. I need some validation at this point to be like, okay, it's coming along. It's coming along. Like, oh, it's working okay. We're getting there. Validation. I need validation. I crave it. I just need it.
We're here for you.
Thanks. I think I'm gonna flip these.
So YouTube wonders if there's a way to use solid tools to remove geometry from the arch.
From here, I believe there is. Once I make these solid.
I think
he said
he's
hanger
talking about
geometry.
the top pointy uppy part of the supporty things.
Uh-huh.
He's wondering if you can use solid tools to cut out those fork-looking things at the top.
Oh, I'm sure you could. Like the thing about these is, like, if we look.
If I can offer you something, Tyson,
Yeah.
the proper answer to that is probably yes, one could.
Yes.
Yeah,
Period.
but see, Tyson wants to help.
Oh.
Well,
okay, go for it.
No, I mean, there's no need. So what we're gonna find, I mean, these are placeholders. This block, that's a placeholder, right? We're not gonna use the solid tools or anything. We'll probably just get rid of this and rebuild it all together. But it's the right size, it's the right placement. So yeah, we could use solid tools, but I think we'll just use some regular, we'll just rebuild it. I just don't know.
Bigger, better, stronger.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I was going.
I just don't know. I don't know what we're like. I still, even thank you for the reference. I still am like, what is happening? I we'll make it up, but I'm not sure entirely what's happening with those things. They seem like they're. We're not gonna. Let's not belabor it. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll do that.
So I do want to, while you keep going, I just want to call out the great job you're doing of component modeling. So you guys see that Tyson he basically has 3 different sets of components. The original piece right here, then he had them laid down on the drawing, and doing all his work here where he has reference. And because they're components and copied over to his actual bridge over in the mist right there, the bridge is basically building itself behind him as he works on the drawing over here. So that's a pretty cool process to do that. That's really neat.
Thanks. If you've never done that, and once you do it and you sort of like, oh, because we will work on this a little bit, but what you'll find is you're over here, you're working on this, and there's so many references in the way that you're just like, man, I wish I could just do this with without everything else kind of in my view. And then the moment you kind of copy it over and work over here on a cleaner reference, you're like,
Mm-hmm. Well, it also takes away that issue of now, how do I take this reference image and rotate it 90 degrees to model this next part, or do I have to stand this up or whatever? That way you can do whatever's comfortable and you don't have to worry about that.
yeah. Okay, so I don't know what this looks like, but we're gonna just make up something.
So So Andy has a photo close-up of the top of a hanger. So it gives you a little... Whoa, they used a lot of rivets in the process of making that. Could you model the rivets, do you think?
No, but
Shut up.
Yeah, yes, one could.
Jody.
There it is.
So, some of the factoids that Jean and others shared suggest that there's 6 million rivets. 6 million in this lovely bridge.
It looks like there's probably 1,000 just in that single strut.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't notice those kinds of details when you look at most of these pictures, but yeah, some of these close-up ones you can really see. It's bumpy.
It's bumpy, exactly.
Bumpy.
I'm sure that was the design intent. There's like, what could we do to give this? I just want a little texture to it. I don't know. What could we do?
I want it to be like a bridge, but but bumpy.
A bumpy bridge.
I read that there's 6 million rivets, and that the heaviest rivets they were in kilos, but I think it was something like over 7 pounds. So,
jeez, ain't nobody gonna steal that bridge.
No,
because it's heavy.
And it's something like 50,000 bedrooms worth of paint or something. Anyway, some fun.
Are these bedrooms from a tiny house, or?
I don't know. Yeah, so this we're like, again, I don't know what's going on here. We're just gonna make it up.
Nice.
It's gonna look something like this. We're totally throwing random stuff in here. Woohoo!
Some of my favorite
Tyson's interpretation of the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Interpretive modeling. Is that a thing? I mean, besides now, when we just made it a thing?
Sounds real.
Yeah, it's legit.
Got a title.
It's true. Okay. I'll allow it.
So let it be written. Get to that point.
Thus spoke Jody.
All right. Doing some of that stuff, like, it's fun because you just sort of him and haw in there, and all of a sudden it adds all this detail, right? Like, oh, yay. Mm-hmm. Detail for cheap is I'm a fan of. But
I don't. Did you guys see the post Box did this week? Speaking of Australia, one of our favorite Australian modelers, Box, put a post up where he took a 2D drawing and ended up basically he used a bunch of tools, True Bend, and I can't remember what else it was, to make this big spiral staircase thing. And the actual geometry that he used, he's like, well, I spent about 3 minutes just kind of throwing some arcs onto a flat surface. But when he was done, it was beautiful, and it just reminded me of that, Tyson, where he said, well, I'm just going to put a couple of shapes in here, and when you step back and look at it, it looks like high detail. It's pretty cool.
So just put a couple of shapes in here. It's very Bob Ross sounding as well.
Yes, sir. A couple of happy little shapes.
Yeah. All right, we're getting something. Let's throw a road in there. Jody, how big did you say the road was?
160 feet.
So that's 72 meters, 702 meters, 98 meters. I don't know how math works still.
I think it was 58.8 meters or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yep.
Scrolling.
All right.
Scrolling.
It's okay. We'll make it up.
No. Gotta know now.
Oh. All right, man. Now I've got too much stuff in the way. This roadway just curves just slightly. And
48.8 meters. Sorry. Oh, what did I say? 58? This is embarrassing.
and now I don't even know why we let you hear.
I was the only person that agreed. I was the only person that said yes.
Oh, that. Fine. I say as the newcomer.
Yeah, exactly. Back off. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I know.
The jerk store called.
Oh.
You might not get that reference. I don't know.
One of the best comebacks ever. Running out of you.
All right, we are gonna make up some stuff. Let's see. How big did we make that? So you said it was something across. I don't know. We'll tweak it. We'll make it and we'll tweak it. Let's say this is like 5 meters that we've got to work with. And we've got a roadway. It goes to there because why not?
It's really quiet in here now.
Yeah, it's kind of. We hit that lull point, I guess. I think I'm watching Tyson model with my mouth open right now, so that's just to give you guys an idea where I'm at.
The better question is your tongue is like hanging out slightly. Like
No, I'm not there. This were an evening session, maybe so, but right now I'm just
that was
mouth breathing and watching.
That's the concentration tongue out, not the I had one too many beers tongue hanging out. Those are different.
Different tongues.
Oh, nice. All right, did we? So let's cut that and throw it into our component. I'd like to. No, it's just a little too big. That's fine. All right, let's see here. Let's see. What can we do?
That's looking pretty slick. That was a pretty cool view you had. Just that end view is pretty tight looking. That's looking nice.
Sweet.
It's coming together.
All right. Let's reverse this. Did I? It vaguely resembles a bridge, right? Like we're making a bridge.
It's or a very poorly drawn Stegosaurus, one of the two.
Ooh.
Well, it's just a Stegosaurus skeleton.
What do you mean poorly drawn?
Did you guys catch Godzilla vs. King Kong?
No, have you
Not yet,
watched
although I
it?
heard it's the most successful HBO movie yet,
It was
or HBO
it
Max
was,
movie.
it was entertaining on every level.
Awesome.
On every level.
Yeah.
Curious.
Well, okay, all the family-friendly levels.
Okay.
You could say that it's almost.
Well, I'm happy to hear that Ashley is giggling over on Twitter. She didn't have to be on Facebook to have fun.
We're not talking about you. Promise.
So I like how like the paper on the thing you're tracing right there is all yellow and everything, which makes me think that like maybe this was made in Egypt at the same time as the pyramids. 'Cause I think
Were
that's
those
kind
from
of
the
paper they used.
1930s also?
Yeah, and they use similar paper.
I believe they called it papyrus.
I believe it's actually pronounced papyrus.
Not in Egypt, but that's cool.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You're American.
All Greek to
Smart.
me, right?
I don't know. I don't speak Greek.
Ooh, nice.
Let's see what that does for how big this is. What? What's happening here?
You know, I remember when we were working on the tower bridge, looking at those pictures of the towers going, well, I could probably spend the whole session doing one of these
Yeah.
because there's a lot of detail on those.
Yeah, that would be some kind of fun. I think those are like, and when you drew it, I don't know about you. Like, I'm cheating. I'm totally cheating. I'm making these vertical, and they're not. They're like tilted in. But the moment I tilt them in, then it requires kind of a little bit more attention to detail, and you risk starting
From
to
this angle-
mess stuff up.
From this angle, it doesn't look like they're leaning in at all. So just use this angle.
Oh, okay. That's
There
fair.
you go.
You know what's curious about that picture you're just looking at though is I really expected the top, that top arc to come down and like fasten into the tower. Like I figured
Oh,
the towers
yeah.
were a structural component, and the fact
Oh,
that
yeah.
it stops dead right before it is just unexpected.
That's
I-
probably the whole thing's probably just made of balsa wood.
Probably.
I wonder too. So there's this sort of crane that goes up and down, and people can walk it. And Box talked about that, right? Like he's done this. You can walk on this thing across the top. But yeah, like what? I guess just these stairs up here. This ladder that you get to go up there. I saw these people going across.
That's something.
I always like to look at those
Yeah.
and imagine just how big. Like there's some bolts, right? Like what kind of crescent wrench does it take to turn some of those bolts? Those things they're as big as my truck.
A big crescent wrench.
Yeah.
And Godzilla. You need a kaiju to come in and like do some city maintenance for you.
Mm-hmm.
Although
That's
Godzilla would probably tear the bridge down. He's kind of erratic like that.
I think we're gonna move this out. Let's say 3 meters.
So do you guys know, like, does Australia deal with much hurricane, typhoon, like any of that stuff that, like, say if they were building this bridge in Japan, they would have all these extra things in place to deal with shifting plates and just general sort of environmental events that are prone to tear bridges up. Do they have to deal with that in Australia, or just giant spiders and lizards and bats?
I'm sorry, I'm not listening because I've got my stuff all reversed.
I could tell your tongue's hanging out.
Like, what have I done? Got my road put on the wrong side here. Dadgummit. So, I don't know, man. You talk about the giant spiders over there. I gotta fix this. What did I do? Okay, when in doubt, let's make a copy and fix it over here off to the side.
Yeah, just scrap it and start over.
Okay,
You're only an hour in.
that's
Have
true.
you saved these recently? Speaking of scrapping it and starting over.
Just Notre Dame this thing. Oh wait, no, that's probably has way more negative. Never mind. I mean that way.
I'm not even sure how it can mean anything but like burn it down.
No, because I was modeling the Notre Dame for an hour and lost
Oh.
it because it didn't save.
I gotcha. Sorry.
All right, I think we're back to a safe
Speaking,
place.
actually, so I do have a question about that. Does anybody follow what's go? I know we had some people who actually lived near it. Are they doing reconstruction on Notre Dame? Is that like coming back together? Does anyone know?
Are you getting anything? I mean, that's a good question. Definitely curious. All right. While we wait to hear about Notre Dame, I'm going to adjust a few of the heights of these.
Cool.
Just making it up.
Michael McHugh said yes, they are doing some work, but it's going slow.
How could it do anything but slow, right?
Man,
Well,
working on something that's that old, I imagine you want to take your time a little bit. Oh.
Ugh, these last ones don't fit the pattern at all, so they like require special hand holding. Ugh, I don't want to deal with you.
Make super unique.
Yeah. Probably.
Okay, it sounds like, just jumping back to Notre Dame real quick, they have decided to reconstruct it as it was, according to Bill Farrell. Because I know they were talking about like doing something different with it, and I remember seeing proposal drawings of some unique looking geometry, but that's cool.
Nice.
Hoping to have it rebuilt by 2024. Wow. So Tyson, honestly, can I ask you a question here as you're doing this? How often do you get into doing something like this and start to model something only to realize you're in the wrong context? And you've either got geometry all over where you don't want it, or you modeled it in out of context where you did want it. Ballpark.
Half the time?
That sounds about right. So you're a fan of paste in place as well?
Paste in place, not to get like super nostalgic, but when we introduced paste in place, I was like, I don't understand why we wasted time with this. It's not that interesting. And I have been so wrong.
I literally have miles on my shortcut key that make that. Like if you traveled my finger ball of hitting my shortcut key, I bet it adds up to at least a mile.
Nice. Yeah. Wow, paste in place is so useful. You do, I mean, I don't know if anyone's really good about, you and me, Aaron, I think we're both in the same boat where we're pretty bad about using outliner, actively, or being like super organized, which because we don't deal in the real world, because we're just fake people.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. Man, what the?
We'll have to keep from crying.
But that said, I'm still curious if anybody uses outliner that well, where they're like sort of using it over here on the side and using it to open models or dig deep within a nested component, or know exactly what they're getting at, or if everybody just does what we do, which is you sort of go in here and you click and you click and you click and you click till you select geometry, and then you know where you're at. And
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do it any different.
Well, I kind of have a theory that if I knew what I was modeling more often, I would probably be better at it.
All right, that's
But
fair.
there's only so many things I can put in outliner called horizontal thing before, that doesn't work anymore.
Why?
Right, not that you need to, but it has been mentioned and called out that there is actually a set of train tracks down one side of the bridge and a pedestrian walkway on the other.
So,
If that's what you're into.
if it's what you're into, that's why I made these all like different depths to be like, people walk here, trains walk here, cars walk here.
That makes sense. Looks like there's 6 lanes in the middle. That is a very large bridge.
Yeah.
It is very, we've already talked about this. It's 160 feet wide. Wide.
Right, but just to give me context, how many meters is that?
48.8.
Okay. What's that in centimeters?
4,880.
Oh wow, that's big. Sorry.
So I gotta take a moment because this is where our strategy begins to fail. And we knew this was going to happen, but it's also it talks about what you were talking about earlier, Aaron, where you're like, gosh, there's got to be a way to make this efficient. But if I want these upper, cross beams here, and I move it on one of them because of the nature of the bridge, right? It starts to break down for us. And
Yeah. So was that, I forget, going back to the beginning, that's not a single arc. You actually drew a series of arcs. Because you can't, I was just wondering if you could do a radial array to copy those, but I don't think that's going to work.
Well, but I like where your head's at, because I am going to use that kind of idea to fudge, to get close. But I just, it is one of those things where I wish this would work a little better. But again, it just, the nature of the geometry doesn't allow that. If I use my component stuff here and move this one, because I built this as part of this, so it was a component, right? Mm-hmm. So that we'd get them all the way across. But now, so anyways, it's one of those things, just to show, like, yeah, that, it works a little bit better on this lower one, not perfectly, but better, because these are all connected the way that we did it, but obviously not up here. So to your point, though, let's see what we can do up here, and with a radial array. Just I don't know, I thought worth calling out, like, you wish you could be as super efficient all the time, but sometimes you just have to go in and hand stitch it.
We like to hand stitch in these parts.
No, I mean, but in all seriousness, I think that's because there's a lot of times where you can just go in and using components wisely, you can go in and make that sort of thing happen. But there's just some cases where that doesn't work, where you do have to manually go in and put stuff in. It's interesting because people, when I'm seeing this more and more on our forums, where people are asking they know to ask about extensions, right? Like, how do I find an extension to make this happen? And with this one particular, what you're looking at, Tyson, I'm thinking in my head, copy along path. I think that's the Chris Fulmer one. Like I said, maybe a radial array with some slight adjustments. But really, sometimes with complex geometry like this, you just got to go draw it. You just got to go put those pieces in.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what we can do here. I think what we're gonna again, just in the nature of how close can we get it in the time allotted, which we're sort of down to an hour or less than an hour left. I mean, I know we do what we want, but so let me take this curve and find that center point. I've still got it here somewhere. Find it for me.
You could say that it's almost the same.
And so we'll radial array one of these components, and this will work a little bit for a little while, but we'll see that it sort of, so let's say we do that and send a few down the way, but of course by only a few in, it's not working anymore. So I think we'll do like 3 at a time, And again, that'll be sort of enough to be close. So let's move that one.
So Aaron,
what's that?
Aaron's doing a church on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And I swear I saw somebody had made like a Lego kit. I thought it was that church. Have you ever seen this? Like, there's some guy that makes these one-off kits where the whole thing folds like a book. It's like a pop-up book, and when you unfold it, all of a sudden, this awesome Lego thing completely stands up in it. And somebody did that. Have you seen that?
No, I've seen those books before, but not that one.
What church are you doing?
Stav? I don't know. I was actually challenged by our extensibility group to model a very specific church near where Tom lives.
Yeah, it's a Viking church or something, isn't it?
Huh.
I buy that. I mean, it looks like it. It'll be fun. It's gonna be a fun one because it's got some classical architectural things going on. Meaning like sloped roofs and that kind of thing. It's going to be a good time. We will enjoy ourselves.
Very cool.
Enjoyment will be had.
That's right.
It's a Japanese castle. I managed to find it. I tell you, people and their cleverness with Lego
It is impressive.
are impressive. Wonder if there's a Harbour Bridge made out of Lego. I'm sure there is.
I don't know, but somebody, I mean, there are a number of 3D models out there. All right, we are almost set up in this one. Still some tweaking we could do for this, but probably let's just move forward. So I'm going to cut those and throw them into this component. And again, we'll sort of
So
show
there's
what we're doing.
an architecture set for the city of Sydney. You know, the architecture set that's like 120 pieces. Mostly they're like the little slick guys. So you can get the city of Sydney, which includes the bridge and the opera house and two other things which I cannot tell what they are.
Oh, I'm so sick of hearing about that opera house.
The Sydney Tower and the Deutsche Bank.
See, Katja's saying it too, that hand stitching can be fun and meditative. That's what I'm always saying.
I think we've established that. I don't think there's.
Where I get my inner peace from.
Any argument.
Yeah, who's throwing you shade primarily on hand stitching?
We just like to tease him
usually
because
Jody.
he does it a lot.
Oh.
There's just I don't give him a hard time. I just say it wouldn't be an Aaron session if there wasn't some hand stitching.
Well, and that's the thing, right? When you get to that point where you're hand stitching, I gotta say, Tyson, that I kind of like this look where you've got these like covered walkways with these panels. It's kind of a nice look.
I wonder why they didn't implement that.
I mean, if it would have to be a much smaller scale for it to be useful as a, covering for rain or anything like that, because it's hundreds of feet in the air. But no, I think, and I don't think anybody's really harassing me, maybe a little bit, but there are times where something like Curve Loft is nice to go in and fix something. But then there's sometimes where it's nice just get to go in there and just manually just, cut that stuff or put that stuff together.
Yeah, I agree. I'm confused why
I'm
this
sorry.
is...
I'm sorry if I've ever made you feel bad about your hand stitching, Aaron.
Wow, we're growing today.
Yeah.
Well, let's get all our feelings out.
This is just what Tyson brings out in me. He's just a healer.
Oh, sure. Okay, I gotta see what we can do with this. What do you think time-wise, Aaron? How much longer should we keep?
You could go up to, so I would say 30 to 60 minutes now is your window. So at least another half hour. But if you really felt compelled to do more, you could go for another hour.
That's a key word there, that whole compelled. Yeah, we'll see how
Or
compelled
motivated
I feel.
by viewers. That's the thing that could have some weight here, right?
Sure. Anybody feeling like it?
Omer likes watching you, so
Who's that? Is that Omar or
Homer?
Homer?
Not Omar. No, this is a different one. I'm probably
Okay.
saying it wrong. It's got 2 little dots over the O, so I could be pronouncing that incorrectly.
Well, thank you very much.
Rock dots.
I
These are called rock
appreciate it. All right, let's see here. I think.
Do they do anything other than operas in the Sydney Opera House, Aaron? Since you know so much about it.
I'm pretty sure that's against the law. I think
To
if
do
you do
something-
anything other than opera in the Sydney Opera House, they export you to the U.S.
So Keggy and YouTube both said that they are prepared to. They're in it for the long haul.
All right. Wish I had that kind of dedication because I'm out of here at like 2:06.
15 minutes.
Gone.
Okay. This is 7th inning stretch.
So this should make you feel good. This is more enjoyable, according to Bill Farrell, than UK evening TV. So you got that going for you.
I have no idea how to interpret that.
I would take it as a compliment.
Sure.
So, okay, so I'm gonna dig into a little bit of something I know nothing about, which is UK evening TV. Whenever I go to watch anything from the BBC, which I just presume that's all anybody watches in the UK, all their stuff is like an hour and a half long. So, I mean, is there evening TV that's short form entertainment, or does everybody just watch really long? Even their TV shows are long. Like,
Wait,
Sherlock
how long is
was
it?
an hour and a
How
half
long
long.
is Benny Hill?
Guess what, Aaron? I don't think they make that anymore.
Huh. Shame.
I don't think they've made that in like 50 years, 40 years, a lot of years.
Okay. Well. All right then.
I don't know how to process Andy's comment. He said watching paint dry is more entertaining than UK evening TV, which I think he basically just alluded to.
Tyson
Tyson modeling is, yeah.
Is slightly better than paint drying.
Yeah. All right. The consensus is that UK evening TV is just rubbish, to use the English term.
That's awesome. This is not all what these struts look like, but we're gonna do it anyway.
I'm just kidding, Andy. I don't mean to actually suggest that you're talking smack about Tyson. I like to talk smack about Tyson, and when I can project that onto other people, it feels like a win for me. YouTube said it's like 50,000 bedrooms of paint drying. He tied it back together.
Nice.
You went back to your previous comment.
Nice. We're just bringing it all home. Let's see what's happening over here. That's sort of working. Sort of.
That's looking good. It's trusses are rough because there's like 2 levels of detail for a truss, and that is almost none
Yeah.
or hours worth of modeling. Those are kind of the 2 levels that you got there.
Yeah. No, I think that's about right. I better stop messing with this. Yeah, I better stop. Bill, there, do we have sound?
Pull out.
Yeah, do we have sound effects? To be like alarms going off and like, no, don't do it.
That's the one.
Yep. Just get out of here. Just get out of here. Here.
It would be the sound effects from Top Gun. Eject.
Yeah.
So, have we heard anything about the sequel coming out?
Maverick?
Anything more? Yeah, he's like a teacher now at Top Gun.
I don't know. The trailer I saw for it had Tom Cruise squinting so hard at whoever he was upset with that I got kind of flustered and had to just walk away. Just the hardest squint I've ever seen.
Break the grip, walk away.
No, I don't know anything about it.
All right, somebody call Jody out on that one, on that reference.
What? Everybody. Does anybody get that? Did anybody get the reference? Anybody? Nobody did. Tyson got it.
It was a handshaking reference. I don't know.
No, it's whenever Napoleon Dynamite goes with Kip to take the free martial arts lesson.
Ah.
With like Dietrich Bader.
Just smacks his hand. He's like, break the grip,
Walk away.
I do remember that now that you mentioned it.
Yeah. I can't decide if go ahead.
No. Okay. What you got? I can't remember which of these.
I was trying to decide if how tedious it feels to watch, just like stretching components or stretching out pieces like that. Like,
ooh, have you ever modeled a video card?
I was gonna say this is not on par with the video card, but it is curious to have to go through and watch, or to go through and watch each of these getting stretched out.
Okay, let's see if we're close here.
I want to say live in infamy, but some things are remembered more fondly than others.
So Andy said you should step over to the forum and see his most recent post, which is just to give you an idea of what you're currently in the process of modeling.
Oh, that may be a trap, Tyson.
Wait, is that a don't do it? Don't do it.
No, you can go look at it. It's funny though. I mean, it's obviously this is one of those where you look at it and you go, "Thank you for sharing this, but I will not be modeling to this level of detail."
Do you recall that scene in Mr. Mom where he's driving and the drive-through supervisor walks up and goes, "Hi, you're doing it wrong." That's the GIF that would be playing right now if Andy had an ability to post GIFs in the YouTube comment.
Barry recommends doing some hand stitching.
Hand stitching? Where should we do some hand stitching? Let's see. Oh, I'm not going to go mess with them, but I hate these. I do not like the way those turned out. But I'm not going to go mess with them.
Well, All right, so go look at Andy's picture, and then maybe you'll come back and appreciate what you've gotten done.
All right.
I
What's...
mean, I will say this: when I channel the spirit
Always
of Chris Rosewarne, where he just puts in details and stuff for the sake of like making stuff look like it's a real world thing, you are right on par with that. I mean, that looks like it could represent a thing that's real.
Wait, what?
No, I meant that in a good way. Like,
But it literally is a thing that is real.
yeah, and it looks like it.
All right. So help me out here, guys. Sort of what's the last kind of things that would
I want
sort of
more
finish this
details
out
on those towers.
over
Yeah,
here?
towers kind of look like real buildings.
Yeah,
Okay.
you had some doorways and some other platforms and stuff. Those look like poorly drawn stacks of books or something. They need detail. They need
Embarrassing.
They need love.
I am still... Oh, what did I am still off somewhere. Ah. What in the...
I would just
Sorry, man.
Hey.
Tyson, grab it and just scale it both directions. Like scale it about the middle at like 1.2 or something like that. I think it'll fudge it enough. You just want to get overlap in the middle, right? And then the ends need to lap out into the arcs.
Yeah, and okay. Hold on. You know what? Die.
Oh dear.
I maybe shouldn't have done that, but we'll see.
That may have been yeah.
We'll find out. Let me take...
Felt like it just got really cold in this room for just a few seconds.
Let me take these two pieces that I think are...
Was that your Jedi sense?
And then hit save and revert and close. No wait, don't do that.
All right, let's see.
Hey, that's a question I want to throw out to everyone. How often have you all relied on the revert command? Because it's in there, and I've a couple times I've gone, oh, good thing that's there, and it saved me. Have you guys ever had to do that? Have you ever had to use revert to pull back your model to the previous save version? I'm throwing that out to you guys all listening.
Whenever I have something that feels like maybe I should revert or like that I've screwed up, I just decide that's actually fate telling me that I need to pivot on my design choices. And I just roll with it.
Are you, Jody the holistic modeler?
That's right.
Andy
Which,
has
by the
never
by-
used revert.
Never used revert.
Lawrence only uses it if he runs out of undos. That works too.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's valid.
Fam is a fan of selection memory, and Bill has used it a couple of times. I just know that there's been those few times where I've gotten into something and I'm like, oh no, like this is not the way I wanted things to be at this point in my life, and I've just used that to jump back. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Like YouTube said, I don't remember it's there because it's one of those commands that I don't use often enough to. Well, I mean, let's face it. Based on what it's for, it's not a tool that you want to have in your workflow on a daily basis.
Unless you just regularly screw stuff up, which, you know, sometimes that's some people's reality. I can't fault them for it. It's just rotten luck.
That's right.
All right, we're going to do
People
paste
suck.
in place. I thought I made a copy, and I don't want to move it back. So, copy, undo. Oh, you know what? This is going to mess... this may not work.
All right, thanks for coming, guys. We'll see you next week when.
We had a good run.
I made some changes that may break the connection between this. It's all. Yep. okay.
Sorry.
But
I'm sorry, Tyson.
no, that we're okay. We can keep going. I think we can still do what we were suggesting, which is like add some stuff to the towers.
So it looks like Geeks Woodshop said that your kids still believe in you.
Huh.
I don't know who that is, but they probably have some sort of connection to your kids. Probably.
Okay, so let me tell you where we need to go with these live modeling sessions based on feedback from my daughter.
All right. Hear it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Hold on. Let me grab a pencil.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
We need a lot more ability to like throw on screen, faces and hearts and stuff like that. Like we just need stuff just dropping all over.
So I've been throwing faces and hearts at my screen this whole show, so I don't really know what you're talking about.
Well, so I mean, well, be totally honest. If we go back a ways, like the original live stream series, which was the Millennium Falcon, anybody who was there for that may remember that Senator Palpatine showed up at one point. I think we had a couple flying porgs run across the screen. So that all is 100% possible. But the way we have it set up, because we're all remote, nobody's in charge of that piece. Because like co-host wise, like so Jody or I can't throw stuff up on on Tyson's OBS screen. So that's not a ridiculous request and could really be something that happens at some point in the future.
Well,
it's all about potential.
That's right.
You'll make my
could get
daughter
more hearts and ponies on the
thrilled.
Are you adding the arch there for the train to drive through?
I know we should totally add that in. So I don't want to model it from this angle, so I'm gonna move it. Just sort of look over here and be like, yeah, it looks something like that.
It's looking good though. I mean, it is definitely. I know it's easy. Well, at least this is my experience. It's easy while you're in the midst of a model to go, oh, it's not good enough. It's not right. It's not what I wanted to have done at this point. But when you step back and look at the fact that you've been modeling for about an hour and a half, it's a pretty impressive model you got up there.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's not bad for an hour and a half worth of work.
That's not what I said. Okay, it is. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
I mean, it's literally what you said, but yeah.
Sorry, I guess my knee-jerk reaction is that whatever you're saying is sarcastic.
I feel like that's not an unreasonable expectation.
That is fair, I think.
But all of my sarcasm is filled with love. It's loving sarcasm. This is not. There's no bitter hatred. There's no bile. No, this is all from a place of warmth.
That's nice.
We know.
Thanks.
Now.
I use that as a coping mechanism for whatever it is I'm coping with.
Jody's scared.
We all are, Jody. We all are.
These are scary and uncertain times.
Live modeling sessions?
Yeah, are you not scared and uncertain right now?
No, actually, this is a huge relief for me. I'm sitting. I'm just eating popcorn and relaxing right now.
All right.
Well, that did turn out. That's cool. Again, that is some pretty slick component modeling. Maybe not lined up perfectly. Might have to adjust the road bed a little bit, but that using the modeling off on the side with the reference image and having it update in the model through components is pretty cool.
It is. I like it.
So I feel like, Tyson, you're properly being welcomed into the fold, because it has been encouraged that when you save, you also take a drink, which means you're
you
one of
made
us.
it. They've accepted you.
Oh, I got warm fuzzies.
You should see a doctor about that.
Yeah. I have to shave that.
If it persists for longer than...
Let's do that. Let's adjust our roadway a little bit. I think this extends out beyond, and we can say, like, we'll line this up. Totally making it up, but, you know, yeah, that's going to be... When in doubt, be like, turn shadows on. Sweet.
I do like that as soon as you flip the shadow switch, it really just sort of, it really ties the room together, so to speak.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little pieces here that kind of need fixing, but in the interest of kind of just working towards a wrap up, I'm like, I hate these trusses, these members so much. I can't look at them. I want to, it would not, like, use some reference images, build these correctly. I just don't want to drag everybody through it, but oh my gosh, I hate them. Anyway,
You know, there have been cases in the past where people have done live models and then taken those live models and put many hours into them afterwards. So, just saying, not unprecedented.
how many
If
of
you make it too perfect, how will they work on it later?
Ooh.
That's fair, but these suck. These are really bad. Anyway, we're gonna.
Means that there's...
I have the solution. We're just gonna throw a few cars on here, and all of a sudden, it's gonna look awesome. I'm gonna do this one to start. This is where you get the scale. I think these cars are kind of the right scale. There we go. The love bug. See?
Hey, Herbie.
Wait, they drive on
Speaking
the
of Herbie,
different
I think
sides of the road. Got to make sure I get that right.
Oh, yeah. Rotate.
Do they drive on the wrong side of the road in Australia?
I think so, based on some of the pictures I saw.
I have no idea.
I can't even think straight. Which one is it? This is driving forward on the left side, right? Like, I'm so...
Well, so the bug kind of looks like the same front and back, just at a glance. So
that's true too. Here, since we were talking about British television earlier, let's.
So just to fact check you, yes, they don't drive on the right side; they're on the left. Does that help?
yes, they don't.
Yeah, or no, they do.
Wait.
So if we just put a couple of these on, going all sorts of directions, I mean,
Just put them all sideways. Put them all 90 degrees, and then.
well, this is the Seinfeld, where they go in and they remove all the lines, right? And then Kramer's driving in the
Ooh.
middle of the night with nobody there. So luxurious. You
That's
just
right.
back and forth. There. There, see? Now it looks like a bridge. That's all we needed.
Yep, those two cars really tied the room together.
Exactly. Okay, I'm not sure how much farther we're gonna go here. I think we're
I think you have created what I would call a solid deliverable, Tyson.
Thank you.
Yeah, Keggy got it. It's simple. They drive on the right side of the road, which is the left side, rather than the wrong side, which is the right side. Duh.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually, I think, word for word what it says in their driving manual.
Yeah. But then
Which they drive there over there too. They drive manuals, right? Because they don't have automatic transmissions yet.
Yet? Well, they're not like in the Stone Age.
Oh, I mean, still?
Good cover. You got it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Oh yeah. Okay, unless anybody wants to like make specific requests of what we're gonna what
I'm hearing is speak now or forever hold your peace.
That's what we're saying. I gotta fix this one, but I think that it registers as a similar Sydney bridge.
I like it. And if anybody tries to give any static about it not being the Sydney, just spell Sydney different, because apparently
there you go.
See Cindy Australia Bridge or Cindy Harbour Bridge. There we go. That's totally different.
Cindy? Is
Awesome.
that what you said?
Yeah, it's the Cindy Harbour Bridge. No U in that harbor either. Harbor. And you're good to go. I was talking to you guys about this, Tyson and Jody, but I just had to say, the Opera House has been recommended many times, and I don't think we've ever ignored it because it's one of those models that I feel like we could get modeled, like a representative view of it could get created fairly quickly, like half an hour model or so to model some pedals and kind of spin those shapes around, scale them. But to go into any kind of detail would not be a 2-hour model. So that's why, despite the fact that we've had that request several times, I've never even seriously considered going after it. It's a cool looking building.
So cool.
So I wonder how much of that is design and how much is like acoustics. Do you think that there's the form serves any sort of function, or?
What's really big? I don't know how loud Australian opera singers are, but I don't know.
Well, everything's bigger. I mean, Australia's like the Texas of continents, or something. Some sort of weird reference like that.
Isn't it the second smallest continent?
Ooh, but it's like they're Texas. Dang it.
Everything's bigger and smaller in Texas. Wait, no. Yeah, Bill Farrell called me out on it. It was absolutely a cop-out. No, actually, because we kind of played with, we talked about that idea, like maybe we do something where it's a series of low-res mini models. We could just, half an hour, just slam out, 3 or 4 of them in a session. Because I've done shapes like the Sydney Opera House before, but never as, exacting as a true architectural model would require. See, without a leak is a leak in my boat, who I like to call a leak for short, is suggesting the Seattle Public Library, which I've never seen, but I can already imagine what it looks like.
I feel like every time something from Seattle gets mentioned, it's sort of like it's from Sydney because it's
all right.
Crazy
Tyson?
shaped.
Yeah.
I got a question. Do you need one of those support members in the very middle of the bridge?
I saw that. I wasn't going to say anything.
It's bugging me. It's a gap. It's killing me.
So let's.
Actually, this Seattle library is not too bad. It's all at least straight edges.
All right. So Jody will be modeling that next week, guys.
I'm actually modeling it right now, but
Oh.
my camera's not working. Sorry.
See, and there at least I got the other one. A Frank Gehry building.
Yeah, I feel like Frank Gehry and the Sydney Opera House are two things that are never going to grace the pages of this video.
Well, I mean, is it worth talking about how at Gehry they created an entire proprietary software just for their internal use for his buildings?
Exactly. The fact they had to create software that works for that, it's sort of like, say, telling someone to make the Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse movie, because they also had to make their own software to make that. Although we do make our own software, Tyson. We literally are a software company.
I suppose that's the point.
Let's talk, Jody.
More modelly. Didn't we try and do that?
We did the Coliseum, didn't we?
We did, yeah. It was a little
Yeah, you
weird because
did.
it's oblong. It was oval shaped.
Yeah, that was the perfect example of, could I do it again? I would have done that differently. But yes, we did. We did do the Coliseum.
This episode of the show is feeling a lot like the end of the Coliseum episode.
Yeah.
I like how I
they're
call it
shut down.
episodes now.
I think it looks awesome. I think I am very happy with the model you've created. I agree the trusses want a little attention, but when you look at it as a whole, there's no question that it is that trussed look across the top. Yeah, I think you did a great job, Tyson.
Thanks.
In spite of your efforts to not think you did a good job.
That's right.
Well, all right.
I'm a parent of teenagers. You're going to get complimented whether you like it or not.
All right.
That's okay, though. Since he's a parent of teenagers, you can also just be all angsty and still hate it.
That's right. Awesome. Well, I think are
Okay.
you good, Tyson? Have you reached that point? Can you call it?
Let me zoom in here a little bit, create us a nice final view, and
Thumbnail time.
Shadows. Okay.
I think for your next video, Tyson, you should do a H.R. Giger work.
That sounds great, Jody. How about I also do a Rube Goldberg, and let's actually make it work with sketchy physics.
Nice. Except that
Cool.
you're using SketchUp on a Mac. Wah wah.
Oh.
MS Physics.
Oh, there you go.
That works.
I think these are
Awesome.
not so big as I made them.
Looks great.
I feel like as
Okay.
a pedestrian, I would climb onto those things.
I know, but I think they're really high up there.
I think they're like
Yeah.
40, 50 feet off the ground.
Based on the size of those cars. Although I like how you pick really small cars to put on there too. I guess it's a Mini and a Volkswagen.
Where's my Jody
and a bug.
component so I can throw them out here and be like, there's Jody.
Oh, I need to make a new component.
We don't have this ability. I want to hand this model off to you, Aaron, just to fix those cross braces, just to be like, okay, if I had just left them as rectangles, it would be better. They're bugging me so much.
This is you hit on a cool thing. Is one day when we're back in the office, we'll actually have the option to do that sort of thing, like where we can actually have multiple people modeling, whether it's competitive head-to-head or collaborative. We'll be able to do that sort of thing when the world becomes real again.
Or do like a relay race. Like we have a stream that's 12 hours long and we have someone else keeps taking over every hour. No? Okay.
You
fine.
had me until you said 12 hours long. Then I seem to have lost interest.
Okay, so it's 12. It's an hour long. You only get a model for 10 minutes.
That I could buy into.
That'd be fun.
Okay, I am gonna test fate and where's
Wait, what's happening? What was your little thingy there? Your little default.
Whoa.
okay.
That structure looks familiar. I can't quite place it though.
I know.
Oh, that's the Sydney Opera House,
Oh, that's it.
as designed by H.R. Giger.
Cool, cool, cool.
All right, let's see what happens.
I'm seeing
here.
some buy-in for this relay race thing, guys. I think maybe it could happen. As Katja pointed out, we could use Trimble Connect, and then we wouldn't even have to be back in the office. Could literally just jump from house to house.
True, but the way that Restream works, I started trying to figure out how to do that, but one person owns the stream, it wouldn't work well. That is
Restream.
pretty solid. Look at that. Those towers are definitely lining up with. Wow, nice work.
Would you look at that?
Turns out plans are good.
Yeah. I always knew Tyson had some talents, but I didn't realize that they were in SketchUp modeling.
It's usually my other modeling that I get all the attention for.
I was gonna say his
right.
hand modeling portfolio is superb, but
Mhm.
Have you seen his blue steel?
I can turn left. Oh.
awesome. Well, are we there? Have we peaked just now?
I think we've definitely jumped the
Get
shark.
out while we're ahead.
Thank you everybody. Thanks for joining us. Aaron, you can take us out, but thanks everybody for hanging out and enduring through whatever this was.
I don't think it was as bad as you think it was.
I think it went great. I mean, there's definitely that feeling when you get into a model and you're like, I don't know exactly how to do this, and it's a little scarier than when you're on your own and you can kind of play in your space and it's okay. When people are watching, there's a different weight to not knowing exactly what you're doing. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look at that thumbnail right there. I know you liked the one where you were on the bridge, but I think this shows what you actually modeled a little better.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. This was a blast. Hopefully, we'll see you guys this Friday, just 2 days from today, when we tackle the Stabs Church. Is that how you say it? I'm gonna have to learn some things between now and then because I don't even know exactly where it is. But yeah, swing by Friday. We'll be doing another model. And if you do need to see what's being modeled when the live sessions are, head by our forum, forums.sketchup.com, and take a look at the calendar in the happenings category. But anyhow, until then, you guys have a great week, weekend, whatever happens between now and when we see you next. Stay safe, stay sane, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye everybody.